Hey everyone, and welcome back. I wanted to do a video. It's been a while since I've done one, a couple weeks. So I'm going to do a player that I haven't done before, a player that I don't often highlight in any of my clips of great vintage players, but somebody I think that is really is deserving, and that's Ferguson Jenkins. So I'll start off here with his 1966 rookie. Shows him here in the Philadelphia Phillies with Bill Sorrell. As is typical in a lot of those 60s rookies, they'd share a card with another player. And Ferguson here, it's a nice near mint 7. Now, I paid about 60 bucks for this card, maybe about 9 to 10 years ago when I first bought it. And it's probably, I think, looking at comps recently, I think the most recent 7 sold for about $190. There's a best offer for $200. Buy it now on eBay right now. So it's really not that... It's really not an unaffordable card. And let me just tell you a little bit about Ferguson Jenkins as I go through these cards. He is probably well known for being the first Canadian-born player to ever make it in the Hall of Fame. Larry Walker is the second. But he was a fantastic pitcher in the 60s and 70s, and even into the 80s. He had a long career, as you'll see from some of these cards. A beautiful 67. You can see he's with the Cubs now. This is probably my favorite Jenkins card here. Really sharp, 67. Just a beautiful imagery, just a beautiful card. I love the way the colors look on that card. He was a 7-time 20-game winner. So from 1967 to 72, so 6 seasons, he won 20 games every year. That's pretty amazing. And overall, for a career, he had 284 wins, just under 3,200 strikeouts. So a power pitcher. Here's his autograph on a 68 leaders card he shared with Jim Bunning. Another pretty good ball player. Here's his regular 68. Nice little portrait shot. This 69, I settled for it in a 6 because you can see that number 640. So it's one of those high numbers. So those run at a premium, and I think I bought this maybe 6 years ago. Really good looking 6, though. I tell you what, man, that could be a 7 all day in my book. That thing is sharp. Now, centering's not too bad. If there's something on the back. The back looks good. Yeah, even the corners look good. That looks a little bit overgraded to me. It's got a lot of good portrait cards with the Cubs here. Fergie was 6'5", so quite an imposing guy up on the mound, if you will. He actually even played with the Harlem Globetrotters for a little bit, from, 67 to 69. He was a member of the Harlem Globetrotters, reminiscent of another great Hall of Fame pitcher, Bob Gibson. He also played with the Harlem Globetrotters a little bit. Here's his 71. I hate it when the tabs start to get a little bit of moisture and start to crinkle up. Just for a few years when PSA, those slabs just really weren't sturdy at all. And they really show signs of moisture. Another 71. This is the Dell Team stamp. Probably one of my newer editions with the lighthouse holder. I really have not been buying, like Fergie Jenkins and stuff like that. I just, I collected them a while back and haven't really added a whole lot to the collection, honestly, but as you can see, I have a pretty good run to start with. Here's a really sharp 72. This is his last consecutive of that 6 years where he'd won 20 games in a row. Here's his 73. Nice near mint to mint 8. Fergie was only actually an all-star for 3 seasons, if you can believe that, but it's probably a testament as much to the fact that there were a lot of other good pitchers in the National League back in his era. So it's just, it is what it is. He did win the Cy Young in 71. 24 wins that year with a 2.77 ERA, so that's probably one of his better years. But 74 here, you see he's pitching with the Rangers. This was probably his best year as far as wins goes. He had 25 wins this year. So that was his 7th and last 20-win season. Not a very cool looking card, pretty bland. But hey, sharp for sure. A little better action shot here on this 75 mini. Don't think I have a 75 regular. I think it's just a classic case if I was willing to settle for the mini. Pick that one up, pretty sharp, pretty clean. This is another newer one I bought. I love this card because it's got 3 Hall of Famers on it. I want to say I bought this one in the last year maybe. Love it because I'm starting to collect Necro. Got a little bit of a Jim Hunter collection. It's got a little bit of a print mark of some kind, an ink smear. That's probably why that's lower than an 8 or 7. Really sharp 75 Kellogg's Intimate 9. Now, for some reason, 75 Kellogg's are at a premium. I don't know if it's because they didn't do a mail-in set and you had to pull them from packs, from cereal boxes or not. I'll have to double check on that. But I know the 75s tend to run a little higher cost than the 74s that are also the 3D image, and then the 76s are much cheaper than the 75s. 71s are the most expensive of those Kellogg's because they definitely all were pack pulled. 75 SSBC. Stoic with the Rangers. Like this card too. Clearly a spring training. I love the tropical palm trees in the background on that card. Cool 76. You know what? If I had to buy a set, I think 76 would be the set I'd go after next. Try to collect a whole top set from a vintage year. It is my birth year, so... But a really cool set. Just cool colors, man. And the older I get, the more I appreciate the design on that 76 set. Here's this traded card. Love it with the painted cap. There says, Fergie brings fastball to Fenway, November 17th, 1975. And sure enough, here he is in a Red Sox uni. This is actually the O-Pee-Chee. Bought a lot of these fairly cheap. But then again, as I said earlier, you can go get his rookie card for 190 bucks and a 7. That's pretty amazing. 78. This is a really sharp 78 in the Mint 9. He kind of started hitting a roadblock in the late 70s. You know, he became an average pitcher. You know, he was a win one, lose one kind of pitcher. You know, he'd have a decent ERA. He'd still strike some people out, but he wasn't the dominant pitcher that he was in the late 60s, early 70s. You know, age catches up with us all, and Fergie is no exception. The last card I have here is 1980 Topps here in a Mint 9, another sharp one. I guess the goal was to get all his vintage. I don't have his 79. Hindsight, looking back at these, I don't know if I tend to pick it up or will pick it up at some point. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's really not that big a project for me. But I thought I would share. He would go on to pitch all the way into 83, primarily the last few years with the Cubs. And then he actually kind of pitched a little bit in Canada in his early 40s before eventually retiring. Made the Hall of Fame in 1991 and is still living well today at, I believe, 78 years old. So cool cards, a cool pitcher. Probably one of those pitchers you don't hear a lot about, but a real dominant pitcher from his era. Once again, everyone, I appreciate the posts, the comments, and I'll talk to you again soon.